My path to education has been filled with ups and downs, and this is the most simplified and reduced story of how I got to this point. So, most of my education was not necessarily outstanding. I would say I was on the more popular side, but I was never actually with the popular kids. In many ways, I was different and just didn't enjoy hanging out with the popular people. And I felt this way all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade. I also went to a majority white school, and a lot of the popular kids were a little racist. Anyways, this all changed when I got to middle school, and my school district's 2 elementary schools combined to give me plenty of new friends to make. With loads of new people to talk to, I started to notice that I started paying more attention to people than I did with classes. Even if I wasn't talking, I would be caught daydreaming and not paying attention all the time. When I got to 7th grade, this became more of a problem, and I didn't know why it was happening. It was just frustrating. But all my teachers blamed me. During the last quarter of 7th grade, I was in the hallway randomly at least once a week in all of my classes. A lot of teachers treated me poorly and acted like it was all my fault, but I couldn't control myself. It was really tough and discouraging for me. And it's worth mentioning throughout all of this, I maintained straight A's. I just couldn't lock in for classes. These problems continued for the rest of middle school, and I still sporadically struggle with keeping my attention. Okay, now that I'm done with the pre-story of who I was as a student, I can start to give my actual origin of what brought me to education. When I was really young, I wanted to be a doctor, but as I got older, I realized some of them have to do gross things, and that's a lot of school, so I ruled that out. One day when I was babysitting my cousin when I was about 11, she might have been like 6. She asked for my help with school stuff. I helped her that day, and apparently I must have done a good job because she started to do better in school. Now, I'm not going to take full credit for her doing better in school, but if someone wanted to give me credit. This experience made me realize that maybe I could help other people with schoolwork. But as I stated in my pre-story, this is around the time when I was struggling in school because I was always removed from classes. So I wasn't too in love with the idea of being a teacher. But this was until my freshman year. Most people probably have a teacher that changed their life or whatever and made them want to become a teacher, but for me, it was just another student that was a senior at the time. Meet Carson. He was the captain of the soccer team, valedictorian, and was very involved in music. He was always so kind to everyone and made everyone feel important. He was a person that lifted up everyone around him. To this day, I'm not sure if he did it on purpose, or if it just kind of happened naturally, but he became like a mentor to me. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but how did that make you want to become a teacher? Hold on, let me get to that. So after he graduated, he left a decent-sized hole in all the programs that he did. And being his good friend, or apprentice, or whatever you wanted to call me, I was expected to fill this hole. I was unsure of how I could ever fill such big shoes, but I focused on things that he did well that made him successful. Number 1, lifting everyone up around you. Number 2, refer to number 1. Now, I'm sure you thought there'd be more to this list, but unfortunately there's not. It's as simple as that. I continued focusing on doing this for the next 3 years of high school, and I can say it worked well for me. I was captain of my soccer team my junior and senior year. I got the lead in the musical all 4 years of high school. I got best performer in show choir many times, and I was valedictorian of my class. Now obviously some of those things required a decent amount of work from purely just myself, but I believe without being able to lift others around me, I wouldn't have had the success. But when are you going to actually get to the part where you chose education? I'm getting to that. By becoming the next Carson, there of course was a new Noah, but the difference is there were plenty of new Noahs. Okay, that's kind of creepy. What I mean by that is by improving what Carson did well, I was able to amass and inspire many people to want to become better and good leaders. And now we get into the education standpoint. I believe if I can teach middle schoolers a subject while also instilling the importance of lifting others up around them, the world can be a better and safer place. I want to be a teacher that doesn't kick kids out of the classroom because they can't focus. And I want to be a teacher that makes students' lives better. Just like how Carson lifted me up and made my life better.